Greetings, greetings, greetings. Come on in, come on in. Welcome to 773. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good whatever it is, at whatever time you are watching this. It's your girl, Chi-Town Ronnie. You just tuned in to 773 Oracle and Tarot. Here to give you the tarot bites. That's you, babies, my little vibe tribe. Your emotional and spiritual forecast for this day of Thursday. Baby, where did that work cycle go? Thursday, July the 16th in the year of our Lord, 2026. What it do, y'all. Waiting for this Palo Santo to do her thing. And honey, the weather report, baby, is not as bad. It's not as hellacious as it was for the last 2 days. We're only in the 80s, only in the 80s. Okay, Palo Santo came to work, sanctifying my area. Going to sanctify these cards. We're going to get into it. Okay. Yesterday. Let's talk about yesterday. Yesterday, we spoke about clarity. Okay, we spoke about clarity. Because Uranus in Gemini was working with Neptune that was retrograding in Aries. Okay. So that helped us to see things differently. See things differently. And like our fog was lifting. So a lot of us yesterday, we got them aha moments. And, that was clarity. That was clarity peeking through. Yesterday, something became easier to understand. And, and that's a good thing. Because when you're clear, when you got a clear direction, you can go faster, But with today's transit, let me try to break it down before I actually give you the transit. So with the energy that we're working with today, have you ever found yourself thinking about something too much? And then you end up more confused than what you started? You were overthinking. You kept searching, you kept analyzing, you kept trying to figure it all out. Sometimes the answer isn't found by thinking harder. Sometimes the answer comes when we're quiet enough to just listen and just pay attention. Today, the moon enters Virgo. So the energy wants to understand. The energy wants us to look deeper. It wants us to find that missing piece. Hold on. Y'all saw my shuffle, and I'm about to give a pull. That's my pull. I'm going to put that right there. Okay. Oh, and by the way, we're going to be using James Von Prague messages from the guides. All right. Let me put these toys away. Yeah. The energy wants us, Virgo energy wants us to understand. It wants us to find that missing piece. Virgos are very detail orientated. Okay. So in trying to find that missing piece, there's nothing wrong with wanting answers. There's nothing wrong with doing your research. Growth requires us to ask questions. Okay. But sometimes healing requires us to be honest. And sometimes we have to be careful because there's a difference between reflection and overthinking. Okay. One helps us to grow. The other keeps us stuck. You can spend so much time trying to understand every detail that you forgot what you already come to know or what you already trust, right? So inner knowing, that'll be the hermit. We're going to do inner knowing. Where's my hermit? Oh, you know what? And you know what I like about this? The hermit. Here we go. Here's the hermit. Hermit is also the card for the Virgos. Yes. It represent, both the hermit and Virgos, they represent that introspection, that deep soul searching, and they prefer to do it in solitude. Okay. This card signifies the need to step away from any distractions from the outside world to find, to find that inner guidance, to find that clarity. Okay. But today with this card, what we're doing the hermit reminds us that sometimes, again, we need to step away from the noise. We need to step away from the noise. Not because that we're lost, not because we're lost, but because we're listening. Because we're listening. The hermit isn't searching for someone else to tell them who they are, what they need to do. The hermit is finding that wisdom that already resides within. And sometimes the answers that we're always looking for have been inside of us the whole time. You often heard me say on this channel that outside energy will fuck your shit up. So this is what we're talking about when we're talking about this Virgo energy with today. Are you really searching for the truth, or are you overthinking because you're afraid to make that first move? Because I will tell you something, overthinking is fear wearing a different disguise. Overthinking is fear dressed up as intellectualism. Yeah. It's fear dressed up as being intellectual, as being responsible, overthinking. Yeah. A lot of us think that we could just figure everything out. And a lot of us think that we could figure everything out when we finally feel safe. We find and that we will, at that point, we will finally know what to do. But sometimes, again, like I said, overthinking is just fear wearing a different outfit. Our minds are searching because it doesn't want to take the risk of trusting ourselves. Yeah. We are allowed to gather information. We are allowed to learn. We are allowed to grow. But collective, at some point, you have to start trusting yourself. At some point, you're going to have to trust yourself. You don't need every answer before you take your next step. Sometimes that clarity comes through just movement. Just make that move. The bravery will come. The clarity will come. You just got to make that move. And that first step is always the hardest. Yeah, clarity comes through the movement, not just by thinking about it. So I'm gonna say this: the wisdom we need is already within us. We just have to quiet the outside noise. You got to create a space to hear your own guidance, to hear your intuition. Trust the process. And in this world, I know that's hard. Trust the process. Trust your growth. Trust yourself. Shit, trust yourself. You got this. Yeah, we're going to keep it simple. We're going to affirm. I trust my inner wisdom. I trust my inner wisdom. Put it in the comments. If you felt what I just say, I trust my inner wisdom. All right. So today, notice your thoughts. Are these thoughts that you're thinking today, are they helping you move forward, or are they keeping you stuck? Take your time to reflect. But hold on. Take your time to reflect, but do not let reflection become another way to avoid that action. All right. I'm not giving you a pass. I'm giving you some guidance. All right. And before we get into our spiritual downloads, let me get that card that we put away. Before we get into the our spiritual downloads, listen, I'm on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Whatever platform you found me on, follow me on the other sides. If this message gave you any sense of clarity, if it gave you a little guidance, and you feeling a little generous, I think on my YouTube, I got a Venmo and I got a Buy Me Coffee. You know what to do. But like the video and leave me a comment, all that other stuff. Okay. All right. So yeah, we're getting our spiritual download from the Messages from the Guide by Mr. James Van Praagh. He says dead people. And there's no numerological aspect to break down. And this card right here says, appreciate your talents. Appreciate your talents. If we are overthinking in order to make that first move, chances are that we are not appreciating what we've already come through or what we can do. This card is right on brand for the astrology we did. Appreciate your talents, baby. Appreciate your talents. So when we talk when we talk about this, appreciating your talents, we're talking about recognizing your gifts. We're talking about honoring your abilities that make you uniquely valuable. There's nobody out here in the world being a better you than you. And it's because of what you bring. Baby, you the secret sauce. They can duplicate the recipe, but baby, you the secret sauce. You that secret ingredient just by your existence. You see? By your mere existence, you're that secret sauce. And so with this right here, it's like, what gifts have you been overlooking or you're taking for granted? Wait a minute. You know what? I need pentacles. I need some pentacles. And my pentacles, this is a collective reading, but for my pentacles, my Taurus, my Virgos, and my Capricorns, pentacles is the suit for the earth sign. There you go. There you go. There you go. Look at that. Look at that. 3 of Pentacles. 3 of Pentacles right there. A lot of us, if we got this card to appreciate our talents, a lot of us are walking around here knowing that we are capable, but we're doubtful. And with this card, Universal Mind wants us to wake up. It wants us to come to an awakening. You don't have to become somebody else to be valuable. Your gifts are they're already accounted for. Your gifts already have a purpose. All right. So here with the 3 of Pentacles, this card represents skills, it represents talents, it represents craftsmanship, recognition, and growth through using our abilities. You bringing people together, you consulting, things of that nature. And like I said before, a lot of us underestimate. We underestimate our own gifts because they came to us naturally. We're, oh shit, if it's that easy, then it can't be worth anything, because we are predisposed to thinking that if there's struggle, that means value. No, baby. No, because it looks easy doesn't mean it's easy for you. And that's what makes it valuable, because it's something that just came to you naturally, whether it be writing, whether it be singing, dancing, acting, coding, doing hair, whatever it is. Because you make it look easy does not mean that the value is decreased. All right. So stop overlooking what comes to you naturally. Your gifts were not given to you by accident. They are uniquely yours. The talents that you take for granted may be the very thing that somebody else needs. So, value what has been given to you. And we going to affirm. Come on, ancestors, give it to me. We are going to affirm. I recognize, value, and confidently use my gifts. I recognize and value and confidently use my gifts. All right, babies. 7:30. I got to get ready for work. Remember your assignment. Your assignment is your alignment. And when that gets too hard, what are we going to do? We're going to close our eyes and we're going to ask the universe to show us how good it can be. All right. I'll be back tomorrow. Y'all made it to Thursday. Congratulations. One more day. All right. Bye.